Hey everyone, Keenan Gray here from DyeStat.com, getting set for a huge weekend in New York City at the Armory. Nike Indoor National is part of a big weekend of championship season on runnerspace.com. And one of the athletes that's going to be competing there in his first ever indoor championship meet is this guy right here, Jackson Cantwell from Nixa in Missouri. Like I said, he's going to be competing in his first ever indoor championship field. And of course, anybody knows the great year he had last year, threw over 74 feet in the shot put at outdoors, and is looking to kind of continue that momentum as the indoor season concludes, but also the outdoor season right around the corner. So, new environment for you. It's indoor. You've never done this really before. It's your first time, not only going to the Armory, but again, this is like an indoor championship. So, how excited are you for this opportunity to go to New York?
Well, I'm excited. I mean, I knew that with my new plan I would have this year, I wanted to throw an NIN just because I thought it would be a fun meet to do and like kind of get to compete early on in the year at a high level. So I'm excited. I think I think it'll be a blast.
Yeah. Tell me what you've kind of like seen the differences between, throwing indoor and outdoor. I know the obvious answer could be like, well, I'm inside. There's no really any conditions by any means, but I mean, I'm sure you're not peaking right now. I'm sure, it's just about getting the technique down at this point.
I agree with that. I mean, I'm definitely not like as strong or as technically sound as I'll be by the end of the year. And that ball's a little bit different. Sometimes it can be a little bit like slippery, but it's also a little bit easier to adjust in your neck. So it kind of there's some trade-offs to it, but it's slightly different. But the shot put's pretty similar. I mean, I don't notice a huge difference between like the environment around me, indoor and outdoor. Really, it's just kind of I don't know. It's just a feel thing with the ball. I feel like.
For sure. And you've already opened up the season. As I said, you've had one indoor under your belt. You threw over 71 feet. Tell me about that competition and what you kind of took away from that. I mean, I got to believe, throwing over 70 feet to kind of the start off 2025 is off to a good start.
Well, it took me a second to get started in that meet. I mean, I think through my first four throws, I was like 67-ish feet. But I mean, I also had thrown not into a net maybe twice before that meet. Like I hadn't measured any throws, so I had no idea how far I was going to end up going. I've got a little bit better idea of where I'm throwing right now, but I mean, I don't still have nearly as much training as I'll have by the end of the year, and so we'll see.
Yeah. Looking at as your sophomore season, again, almost eclipsing 75 feet in outdoor season. What'd you kind of learn about yourself as a thrower? I know obviously your dad has a tremendous background in this event, but you're just learning and kind of building your own legacy right now.
Well, the thing about last year is people expect me to make a jump. People didn't expect me to make that jump because they didn't know like kind of my background, like and what I was like doing before that year. But that was my first true year spinning the whole time. Because my freshman year, I switched the spin in the middle of the year because it started going farther than my glide. But I hadn't got enough time to train it. So when I had enough time to train it, it started going a lot farther. So I got a lot better at that, and that was kind of what helped me make a lot of those big jumps. And that was kind of what got me from people expecting me to throw like just about 70 to well clearing 70 like by the end of the year.
I mean, obviously there's a difference when you do the spin rather than just the glide. What was the biggest difference maker you felt like it was for you?
Well, the biggest difference is I was just better at like actually making changes with the spin. Like I felt like in the glide, I just had a hard time getting my body to do different things because it's such a quick movement and like there's not as much to change in it. Like I had a difficult time making change, so I figured like if I can make a lot more impactful alterations with the spin, I would go with that instead, just because I would know how to fix stuff on the fly and I know how to work on stuff better at practice every day.
Now you've got, like a true season under your belt from this sophomore year. Now it makes you pretty excited for what's to come in 2025. What are the goals? What's something you want to accomplish, not just at this indoor championships, but also looking ahead to 2025 outdoor?
Well, I mean, I think the goal is always to PR. So, I mean, if I can get close to that, this indoor championships, that'd be awesome. But I want to throw 24 meters when I go outdoors. So that's the goal for this year.
Yeah, which in our metric terms, instead of just saying 24 meters, that I would assume that's over 80 feet.
About 79 feet, somewhere in there.
Yeah. But I mean, is that something that is on your mind? Are you thinking like 80 feet? Like, I mean, I know you're only a junior this year, but like, I mean, I'm sure that's something in the back of your head thinking like, yeah, let's see if we can get it out there.
Well, the biggest thing that I've kind of heard ever since I started high school, and I didn't know exactly how this would end up working, is like going for that 81 foot three and a half, 24.78 meter national record. And I don't think a lot of people really knew like if I would get super close after my freshman year, because obviously 64 feet for a freshman is very far. but they didn't know if like that would get me on track. But after last year, I feel like I'm pretty on track to at least get like very, very close to that mark. And I'm only about, I mean, another meter would get me well over nation number two all time. So, I mean, just getting to chase that down and gradually make up ground on number one, I mean, that would be the plan.
You're making the progression like you did from freshman to sophomore. That'd be a 11-foot improvement, which we have no idea if 86 feet is in the cards,
No,
but
I don't think I'll make that big of a progression by any means this year because I got too much experience to spin last year. Like I was still getting gains just from being new to the spin after throwing 64 with the glide. But I think, I mean, this year I just got to keep putting it all together and just keep really learning like about what how I throw and like kind of like find a style that like I can stick to and like continue getting better at. And I think once I really nail that down, the distance will start flying up.
this will be your first opportunity to check out the Armory. I'm sure your dad has talked about it before. I'm sure he's competed at some point in his career at the Armory.
Yeah,
Maybe, maybe
don't
not.
quote me on this. I'm pretty sure my parents met up there. They met in New York, and
Okay.
I think it might have been at a meet at the Armory. From I
Yeah.
don't 100% remember, but I'm like 75% sure that's the case.
Yeah. And it's a unique environment where you're basically in this like steel cage. You got these fences that are lined up. I mean, have you had a chance, kind of see pictures and get an idea of what that environment looks like?
I mean, I've seen kids from in the Northeast just throwing at meets there. I've seen like college and pro meets up there. It's been like I knew about it. It's just I'd never obviously never been. I don't think I've been in New York since I was like four, and I don't think I've ever thrown in an indoor facility like that before. I mean, my only indoor meet I did this year in like a medium-sized town at best in Maryville, Missouri. It was just, I mean, it was a pretty open area. Just like it kind of felt like an outdoor meet because there wasn't a whole lot going on around us. But I mean, like this will definitely feel a lot more caged in with like the like fences and stuff. But we have a similar setup outdoors for a Missouri State Championship, so I don't know if it'll feel too much different with like everything being enclosed. So it might not be too different after all.
Yeah. What's the ultimate outcome? I mean, I know as I said before, 2025 is outdoor season is where you want to peak. You want to peak in June at Nike Outdoor Nationals and maybe even compete at the U20 championships and see if you can try to get a U20 title along with Nike Outdoor Nationals title. But what are you hoping to get out of this weekend and kind of go into the outdoor season with some positive notes?
Well, I mean, I think next weekend. I mean, the goal is just throw a PB. I mean, that'd be incredible if I could get to that point, or even get close to where I was last year this early. Because that'll mean that if I can get like if I can start inching upwards of 22 meters already, that means I'll blow my like 74 9 3/4 out of the water by the time I get outdoors. And I mean, I think that'll be something I can absolutely do. I mean, I think my technique isn't where I want to be. My strength absolutely is right now, and like compared to where I mean, I'm almost as strong as I was last year in March, and I haven't even really like peaked at all. Like I'm still like really cruising on some of the like what's it called like building up stuff I've been doing. So it's been I feel like I've got a good shot to throw well, but still have a lot of room to grow by the time I get outdoors. And obviously, winning NON is always a big goal. I want to win NON and disc this year as well. I think I'll have a lot better chance to do that. I've been working with my technique a lot better. I made a lot of big changes already, and I think that those two things, and then depending on how it sets up, I might do U20 like qualifiers, but I can't do the meet. I can't do the international meet because I have football season. So I might do it and just try to see how close I can get to the American record, but I don't think I'll actually go like to wherever it'll be.
For these people, he's a really good football player. If anybody doesn't hasn't seen his tape, whatnot, he's a 5-star guy. He's getting multiple offers from very big Power Five schools. So Jackson, I really appreciate your time. Maybe in the future we're going to talk about throwing the weight throw in indoor competition. Like maybe that's something you
You're
might be able
funny.
to dabble in.
No way. I'm not a weight thrower. My dad says this, not me, so don't blame me anyone out there that throws weight. But if you're not shot and disc guy, you gotta throw the weight. But I gotta stick to what I do.
Well, stick to what you're good at because you are throwing that thing very far. So, and we really looking forward to see what you do at NIN. Of course, everybody catch Jackson Cantwell and the rest of the nation's best athletes at Nike Indoor Nationals this upcoming week in New York. Really appreciate your time, Jackson. Best of luck in New York.
I got you. Thank you very much for the time. Appreciate it.